Scaffold safety is a critical aspect of construction work. Ensuring that scaffolds are properly designed, installed and maintained can prevent accidents and protect workers. Scaffold safety is crucial for ensuring that construction workers are protected while working at height. Properly designed, installed and maintained scaffolds provide secure working platforms, but they also pose significant risks if safety protocols are not followed. Here's a breakdown of key scaffold safety practices to minimize risks and ensure a safe work environment. Planning and design. Scaffolds must be designed by a qualified person, typically a structural engineer, to ensure they can support the intended load. The design should consider factors such as the weight of workers, tools and materials, as well as environmental conditions like wind. Different scaffolds, such as frame scaffolds, system scaffolds and suspended scaffolds, have unique safety requirements. Make sure to choose the right type for the task and environment. Inspection before use. Before workers use a scaffold, it should be inspected by a qualified person. This inspection should check for stability, secure connections, and ensure there are no damaged or missing components. Scaffolds should be inspected daily or after any significant weather events such as storms, which may cause damage. Inspections should look for things like loose or bent frames, damaged planks and faulty guardrails. Use a color-coded tagging system like green, safe to use, and red, unsafe, to easily communicate the scaffold's condition to workers. Assembly and dismantling. Scaffold assembly and dismantling should only be done by trained and competent personnel. Workers should follow manufacturer instructions and safety guidelines to ensure correct assembly. Scaffolds must be securely anchored or braced to prevent tipping or movement. For tall scaffolds, base plates should be placed on stable surfaces and outriggers or guy wires may be required for added stability. Ensure that scaffolds are set on a solid foundation. This prevents tilting or shifting during use. Avoid placing scaffolds on soft ground, uneven surfaces or near heavy traffic areas. Load capacity. Each scaffold has a maximum load capacity which must not be exceeded. The weight of workers, materials and tools must be considered when determining load limits. Avoid concentrating too much weight in one area. Distribute tools, materials and workers evenly across the platform to reduce the risk of collapse. Guardrails and fall protection. All scaffolds must have guardrails on all open sides and ends, typically at heights between 38 to 45 inches. This prevents workers from falling off the scaffold. If there is a risk of tools or materials falling, use toe boards along the base of the scaffold to prevent objects from being kicked or falling off. In certain situations, like working on suspended scaffolds or very high platforms, fall arrest systems, such as personal fall arrest harnesses or lanyards, should be used. Access and egress. Workers must have safe, stable access to the scaffold. Use ladders, stairways or ramps to reach the scaffold safely. Never climb the frame of the scaffold or use makeshift ladders. Ladders used to access scaffolds should be secured at the top and extend at least 3 feet above the scaffold platform for stability. There must be a safe exit point for workers on the scaffold. Make sure that access points are not blocked and emergency exits are clear. Work practices. Workers should wear slip-resistant footwear to prevent accidents on scaffolding, especially if the platform is wet or muddy. Limit the number of workers on the scaffold to avoid overloading and overcrowding, which can create an unsafe working environment. Keep tools and materials organized and secured to prevent them from being accidentally knocked off the platform. Workers should use tool lanyards or tool belts to avoid dropping tools. Weather conditions. Work on scaffolds should not be conducted in high winds or adverse weather conditions, as these conditions can destabilize scaffolds or increase the risk of falls. Follow local regulations for work stoppages in extreme weather. Wet or icy scaffolding surfaces should be avoided, or workers should use additional safety measures such as non-slip footwear and surface treatments. Training and competence. Workers who use scaffolds must be properly trained on scaffold safety, including how to recognize hazards, use fall protection equipment, and properly load scaffolds. Ongoing safety education is key to keeping skills sharp. Supervisors should regularly monitor scaffold work practices, ensuring compliance with safety guidelines, and address any unsafe behaviors immediately. Maintenance and repairs. Scaffolds require regular maintenance to ensure they remain in safe working condition. Any damaged parts should be repaired or replaced immediately. Only use approved, compatible parts to repair scaffolds. Using non-standard parts can compromise the scaffold's safety and integrity. Decommissioning. When dismantling a scaffold, follow the reverse process of assembly. Ensure that no workers are below the scaffold during disassembly, and use appropriate fall protection if necessary. In conclusion, scaffold safety requires careful planning, proper design, and continuous vigilance. By ensuring that scaffolds are properly constructed, maintained, and inspected, and that workers follow safety protocols, many common accidents can be prevented. Prioritizing safety measures not only protects workers but also enhances productivity by minimizing downtime from accidents.